It's time to jump into the luxury imports of Bowling Green, BMW, Mercedes, Sports Webb, with your host, Brian Webb. Also starring Vegas Frank and Against the Odds, brought to you by JBK Network Consulting. Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill presents WKU Lady Tops golf coach and PGA teaching professional Adam Gary in Gary on the Green. It's The Good Fit with Jeremy Harris and Sports Web baseball analyst Danny Hartong from First Step Orthotics. WKU Sports Analysis with Garrett Browning, plus the Culver's High School Player of the Week. And all phone interviews and guests appear via the Linux of Bowling Green Hotline. Now, from ESPNKY.com, here's your host, Brian Webb.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sports Web number 249. Great show tonight. Got Kevin Childers, PGA Pro, out at the club at Old Stone. Look at a lot of things going on out there. Got a new course coming in out there, Garrett. Be perfect for you and I.
So perfect as in like a par 3 course or something that's 100 yards?
Oh,
is it really?
It really is. You nailed it. I didn't even prep you. It's like it goes from like, I don't know, 35, 40 yards up to like 112 yards. I can finally hit a green.
They're doing a lot over there. Aren't they like doing guest houses or something?
They
like
are.
The
they
guest
built
houses?
a lodge like a hotel, and like it's got themed rooms, and I'm sure Kevin will tell us a little bit about that because we're going to talk a little bit about the club. But that's one club, and then we go up the road to Glasgow and Willow Oaks. There's two of the greatest golf courses in the state of Kentucky are 25 minutes apart, which is awesome. And
Absolutely.
They're both great clubs. Willow Oaks, they've got their brand new bar renovated. They've got a new exercise room. The pool opens Memorial Day. Old Stone's got a new pool coming as well, like an Olympic size kind of pool where they can
like racing lanes.
Yeah, like
and everything.
racing lanes and stuff.
Oh, man.
Which, I mean, I can barely get from the shallow end to the deep end.
Yeah, you know, like 100 meters is down and back. I'm just going to make it down. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not
There's
coming
no
back.
kick off the wall.
I'm not coming back. The only way I'm going to compete in that is if I've got one of those big rafts with the armrest and the cup holder. And then I'm in because I can do the old
the doggy paddle off the side.
The doggy paddle. Or if you remember when Ace Ventura is saving Dan Marino, he's in the raft for like 2 seconds and he takes that little fan and sticks it under the water like a motor. That's what I would be.
Is that how that works? You can just put a fan in the water?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those little hand fans, like where you're at like a fan in the stands kind of thing. Like, you know, you've seen the ones with the mister.
Spritz the water on you.
Yeah, that thing. He had one of those. I don't know. That's a great
You need a
movie.
heavy-duty one to get you
Mr.
moving on that raft.
Winky. Oh, my God. That's the greatest movie of all time. Hey, this is the greatest show of all time, Sports Web. Knocking on the door, 250. That's a quarter of 1,000 there. I don't know if we'll ever get to 1,000.
The fastest growing show in the state of Kentucky, because when you start with 0 listeners and you gain 1, you're growing by 100%. So congratulations, Brian.
I count myself so I've got 2. So I count myself.
I listen to the podcast too, so
I love it.
There you go.
I listen to yours as well, Garrett. Do a great job. And you got a bunch of postseason softball coming up, a little baseball too, Warren East. We got some great sponsors. Would you like to know who they are?
Absolutely. I'd love it.
Very good.
I need to learn it.
Well, it's true. You're the one's going to be voicing these things during the game. But our play-by-play guy right here, resident play-by-play, Garrett Browning. We've got Rafferty's on supporting. J. Allen Builders, Kenway Concrete, who you're very familiar with.
Said that a couple of times during
said that a couple
football and basketball season.
We've got them. We've got Kite Home Center. Love our people at Kite, the best in the business.
I think I stole one of your Kite Home Center shirts.
And that's okay. You know,
I think I found one in the studio not too long ago, and I was like,
it does get hot in here.
Free game?
It does get hot in here.
Free stuff laying everywhere.
Listen, stuff laying in the studio.
It might as well be free game.
It might as well be. You don't do it. Don't leave anything in your, especially your wallet. No, just kidding. But we got that and a bunch more, man. Bunch more. Northern Kentucky University is a sponsor. That's awesome.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Warren East, they are, I'm not going to jinx it. I'm not going to say they're primed to make a deep postseason run, but they were undefeated as of yesterday. They took a loss to Central Hardin, which
is a great team, right?
Yeah. According to the polls, which are out of, I believe, Courier Journal up in Louisville, they put out the softball polls. Male has been first like all season. They're undefeated, I'm pretty sure. Warren East was second, and Central Hardin was fifth. So, I mean,
there you go.
They're 2 of the best teams in the state.
Absolutely. And, you got Katie Gardner on the mound out there who's just had you were on the call. She hits a grand slam the other night to what beat Allen County, right?
Yeah, she is unreal, man. She is easily, if not the best pitcher in the state, she's one of the 3 best pitchers in the state. Did get knocked around a little bit up at Central Hardin, but Central Hardin's, they're known for scoring runs. And actually, at one point in the game, there were 3 straight bunt attempts.
Oh, 3 straight?
That all resulted in a single, and it loaded the bases, and then they had a squeeze bunt to bring home the first run. It was a weird way for Katie Gardner to give up runs.
That was almost like McKinney coaching the other team at the same time, wasn't it? Because he's a small ball guy.
Oh, it was a lot of mind games being played between the 2 coaches.
I bet that was fun to watch.
McKinney he went 1 for 2 on stolen base attempts, got called out with Sparks late in that game, and I saw him down the third base line. He kind of gave like a little angry fist pump, not one of those good fist pumps, like an angry fist pump, but they are so fun to watch. Man, Gardner actually hit a home run last night too. She can
hit it.
She didn't pitch amazing, but she comes in and hits a home run, and
you gotta love that.
Ended up taking the thing to extra innings before they lost.
9-inning game, man. That's not a normal softball game, is it?
Yeah, and actually we'll call Warren East baseball this coming Monday.
Right.
I've yet to call
Ryan Hawks.
Yeah, I've yet to call a baseball game for the Raiders,
so
I'm excited.
I thought you did.
No, not yet. I'm really excited to watch Hawks in person. We were talking about it a little off air. It's their first district matchup, so we're wondering if maybe they try and save Hawks for the next round where they'd have to play the higher seed Bowling Green,
if
right?
If they weren't going to, they're going to now, Garrett.
Well,
you've planted a seed, son.
Well, now Warren Central knows what to expect.
Yeah, so that's exactly they can counter. It's just a game of chess, isn't it? Some of these games, it's pretty good stuff. I'll tell you what, I'd love to get, first of all, I don't know if everybody missed it or saw it, but Kawhi Leonard in Jurassic Park the night for the Raptors hit the first ever buzzer beater in a Game 7. I would like for you to collect your thoughts a little bit, and I want to hear your call on how that would have went. Kawhi down to the last second, and here goes Garrett Browning coming at you live from Jurassic Park.
Was I supposed to make a dinosaur sound? No. Kawhi off the right wing into the corner over Embiid. Off the rim. Off the rim. Off the rim, and it goes.
It was 3 times, wasn't it? That's a great call.
And now
man.
I also want to give you a accurate depiction of exactly how Kawhi Leonard sounded after he made that shot. That's it. That's it right there.
Hey, listen, that was awesome game. We got some great championships coming up here, and I don't know who you like the most, but you think the Bucks are going to be able to get them, or the Raptors? I mean, I think it'll go 7.
You know, it's hard not to pick a Game 7 between those 2 teams because they seem like neither one of those teams truly has any sort of advantage or disadvantage. They just seem so evenly matched. The Raptors were the best team in the NBA for half the season. The Bucks were the best team in the NBA for almost half the season. And one of them's going to go to the NBA Finals. And
right.
I'm just glad we get to watch a matchup like Giannis and Kawhi going one-on-one.
It's going to be great.
And
they've got a cast of characters, both teams.
Oh,
I mean,
they're both very deep teams.
Super deep.
Toronto's a lot deeper, but there's no question. This playoff series is Giannis versus Kawhi in the grand scheme of things.
I totally agree, and it's going to be great. And you got guys like Siakam and Lowry who can just get really hot.
Well, yeah. Lowry, he'll come and go for you, but when you got a guy like Kawhi that's just, he may not shoot the best every game. I think in Game 7 he was under 45% from the field, but he's just so consistent. You know that he's going to score for you when you need it.
Always.
And obviously, I think the Raptors' defense may be the best in the NBA. If anybody could try and slow down Giannis Antetokounmpo, it would be Kawhi Leonard. So
I totally agree. And then, you got, I guess, Gasol's on that team, right?
Yeah, Marc Gasol got traded halfway through the season.
Really been a big help, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. They got rid of Jonas Valanciunas, who was kind of just eating up a contract and wasn't necessarily the most productive center. And they got a guy like Marc Gasol that, gosh, you watch him play, and you're like, how does that guy make it up and down the floor?
Man,
I mean, he's not athletic by any means, but he just knows how to play his position. He's aggressive, and he's a
Good shooter, too.
He's a very underrated defender.
Super underrated.
He's not
defender.
a great defender by any means, but he's going to come in, he's going to rebound, he's going to battle down low, especially for a guy his age at this point.
I mean, he's impressive. I usually take him in my fantasy because he's usually a cheap price.
Oh, yeah, that's a good pick right there.
I always try to lock in Gasol if I feel it. Some nights you might miss, but a lot of nights, man, he might put up 30.
We got NBA playoffs tonight. Of course, that the Bucks series versus the Raptors doesn't start till tomorrow, but the Trailblazers take on the Warriors tonight, and I'm pretty sure KD's still not back. I think he's out for the first 2 games. I don't know if that's official or not, but that's what I've heard.
How much will that affect it, or will Draymond just step up? Will the other guys just step up? Clay, will he step up?
I heard a stat the other day that since Kevin Durant has joined the Warriors, when Steph Curry plays and Kevin Durant does not, that's 28 games they've played so far since he's joined the roster, and he's not been able to play a game, and Steph Curry has, whatever. They played 28 games. Can you guess what their record is through 28 games? Without KD and with Steph Curry.
Without KD, with Steph, I'm going to say they're over 500. 600%? Are they
27-1?
No. Without KD?
Without KD and with Steph Curry.
Maybe they're leaving him out for him.
I think
maybe Kerr's leaving him out for a reason.
There was a reason they won 73 games in the regular season. I think the big problem this year is they do not have any depth. I mean, Andre Iguodala, he's a year older. He's still going to provide a lot of that dirty work you need, but he's just not the same guy he was 3 years ago. And Sean Livingston, he's one of my favorite players ever in the NBA, had a gruesome leg injury that, I mean, literally his leg snapped in half, his ACL and MCL, and people thought he'd never play again. And here he is still 10 years later playing in the NBA, but he has really fallen off this year for the Warriors. And he's been one of those guys that's just been that consistent bench depth that they've needed the last 4 or 5 years. So that's really the big question mark, is if Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, if they're having a slow game, who else is going to step up? And
good point. We got to step up and step out for a second. We're going to come back with Danny Hartung, First Up Orthotics. We'll spend a few minutes with him, then we'll go straight into Vegas Frank. We got Matavia Graham from Warren Central, and I've got Kevin Childers, like I said earlier. So don't go anywhere. Action-packed Sports Web all the way up to WKU versus Austin Peay. Stick around, ESPN 102.7.
Grilling season. For the pros at Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill, it's the best time of the year. That's why they sell Napoleon Gourmet Grills. Napoleon shares their passion for grilling, and they make incredible grilling products. They're famous for gas and infrared grilling with their infrared sizzle zone. Napoleon has the best infrared heating technology. You can even turn your Napoleon gas grill into a charcoal grill with their optional charcoal tray. It's 2 grills in 1. Come down to Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill to get your Napoleon grill. Just off the bridge on Old Louisville Road.
Culver's wouldn't be what it is today without the family farms that grow and produce the wholesome, delicious food we so proudly serve. From the cattle ranches of the Great Plains to the dairy farms of Wisconsin and south to Georgia's chicken country, it's important to us to make sure farm families across the nation clearly see how Culver's remains committed to sourcing the finest ingredients America's growers have to offer and how thankful we are for their hard work and dedication. Culver's, Scottsville Road in front of Greenwood High. Welcome to Delicious.
JBK Network Consulting and Cisco Systems have long been partners in Hilltopper Country. We have served South Central Kentucky since 1992 and now serve customers throughout the Commonwealth and in 19 states. With the power of Cisco Systems, JBK Network Consulting offers a complete lineup of voice-over IP, wireless indoor and outdoor, and digital signage for both information and entertainment sales and services. Looking to expand or just want to start on rock-solid ground? Conveniently located in Bowling Green, JBK Network Consulting, where we are IP everything.
A man become preeminent, he is expected to have enthusiasms. What of mine? What draws my admiration? Baseball.
And now your Major League Baseball update with Danny the Limb Hartung. First Up Prosthetics and Orthotics, 31W Bypass next to Batteries Plus in Bowling Green. Yeah, on the Line-X hotline, Line-X Bedliners. What's up there, Danny the Limb?
What's going on, my brother?
Nothing. We've been talking a lot of NBA because, man, it's just exciting when it gets down to, conference championships.
Who's playing?
Well, let's skip over that and go straight to
no, I actually know who is actually playing.
Oh, good.
I have been following a little bit between Philadelphia and Milwaukee, so that's that's am I right there?
Yeah, well, Milwaukee has recently punched their ticket and will be taking on the Raptors in a few days.
Oh, it's the Raptors.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Well, listen, what's going on right now? You got Cleveland just beating the tar out of the White Sox. Reds play Cubbies tonight. They're 18-23, making a climb back. Cubs looking a lot better, 24-14. What do you got for us?
Well, it's the quarter point of the season right now, so you can start to make some assumptions the way I'm looking at it right now. Right now, Houston looks unbeatable. They've got 30 home runs in the last 10 games. These guys are raking the ball. Tampa Bay's got a little bit of a problem. Glasnow's on the shelf for about 4 to 6 weeks, that little forearm strain. But they're still playing decent baseball. They got taken 2 out of 3 by the Yankees over the weekend. But the Yankees, they're amazing. They really are. I hate to say it. I'm a Boston fan, but the Yankees are 26-14 with hardly anybody playing.
Yeah.
You know, it's they're getting stuff from LeMahieu and Giselle and all kinds of crazy stuff. But they're winning. So wait till they get strong. They're going to be scary to watch. But no, it's getting down there. NL East is going to be an ugly mess. Between Philadelphia's playing ugly baseball, but they're winning, and the Nationals are a mess. The Mets are a walking mass unit as the other team across the Verrazano Bridge over there in Brooklyn. But it's getting down there. It's getting kind of weird. But June, the rest of May, June should be really, really exciting for baseball fans because they're starting to call kids up. Milwaukee brought a new kid up, their number 1 prospect. Travis Shaw went on the DL, so it's going to be the NL Central is going to be a tight race, but I think the Cubs are really, really playing great baseball right now. So
I haven't heard a lot about Vladdy Guerrero Jr. since his debut. What's he been doing up in Toronto? Have you heard much about him?
Yeah, Vlad, everyone's built this kid up, and he's a great baseball player, and people shouldn't be knocking him. It's a whole different game up here. He's playing great defense, but he's not hitting the ball very good right now. But he'll come around. I have all the faith in the world. I watched his dad play. He was amazing, of course. But this is the kid that they built up, and to put up with all those expectations, it's going to be very tough at this level, but I think he'll be fine. But it's just a little slow start.
Well, I think it's interesting you mentioned he was playing really good defense because I feel like that was the knock I read about him when they were worried about calling him up to the MLB was that he wasn't ready to play defensive third base at the major league level. So I guess that's a pretty good sign right there that he started off hot on that side of the ball.
Yeah, he's playing the hot corner, and he's only had, I think, 1 error, and it was a throwing error since he's been called up. But his bat's just a little bit slow. He got a couple of knocks the other night, and I think he'll, give this kid another couple of weeks to figure out the pitching because he has a wonderful batter's eye as far as figuring out pitchers and give him a couple times through the rotation. I think he's going to be just fine.
And one more team I got to call out there because I know absolutely nothing about them is the Minnesota Twins. They're 25-15, which I would have no idea they were that high in the standings if I wasn't staring at them right now. What the hell's happening in Minnesota with these Twins? It's been a while.
Well, I tell you what, their pitching's been saving them. Their bats started out kind of slow, but they're coming around. But their pitching was Barrios and Jake Odorizzi, who former
Ray,
old Tampa Bay Ray. Yeah, exactly. He is pitching lights out. Barrios is 6 or 7-0. Odorizzi's second in the league right now in ERA, and they're shutting them down. And they have a good closer, and they have a good back of the rotation, which is really helpful. But they're copping 4 or 5 runs a game, which is just enough. It's kind of like the way Tampa Bay was playing earlier in the year. But their defense is good. but Rosario's hitting the ball pretty well, and they just got they play small ball, kind of like the Royals did years ago. More than 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
They're playing kind of that style of baseball, but they're playing well. But like I said, their pitching's really helping them a ton.
Out of San Fran, I think that Bumgarner's going to obviously going to be on the trade block there, and he's got some he's got some disclaimers for some teams that he can't even shop around. But is there any chance, guys, that Bumgarner could become a Red? I mean,
I have not seen. I knew there was 18 teams he wouldn't want to be traded to. I don't know if the Reds were one of them.
I can read them off to you. I've got them right here.
That'd be awesome.
Astros, Braves, Brewers, Cardinals, Cubs, Phillies, Red Sox, and Yankees.
Those are the teams he wants to go to.
Oh, that's where he wants to go. Oh, never mind. Let me shut up.
I would assume so, because those are all winners.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at that. I was like, it doesn't seem right. No trade clause that includes 8
There was a block of teams that he wouldn't go to. But I tell you what, it would not surprise me if he was in a Boston outfit or New York Yankees. And whoever gets him, this guy is nails when it comes time to the postseason. Because if you remember the years ago when he for Frisco, how well they did.
Oh, dude.
He was just, absolutely nails.
Unbelievable.
No, it's hard to say. They're going to have to pay a pretty hefty price for him.
It'd be worth it.
And I got to let Brian, you were right, Brian. That is a no trade clause. That's what it said. So I believe those 8 teams he can't go to unless he wants a buyout of some sort or something. And
right.
I'm not sure where that trade clause. How do you get 8 teams on a no trade clause?
I mean, that's there's a lot of
what is that?
I don't know. There's a lot of dynamics to that. The logistics on that. I'd like to know each individual
we'll
story.
trade you to the Royals or who else? The Miami Marlins. That's it. You got 2 choices.
You go to the Rockies. Oh my goodness.
Go to Baltimore.
Yeah.
But no, they. Did you say those 8 teams are the ones he doesn't want to go to?
I don't know. I don't know what his preference on clubs will be, but that does say that he has a no trade clause that includes 8 clubs. Those that I read.
Oh, okay. Well, I tell you, you could really use them, and they have the money to spend is Atlanta or the Tampa Bay Rays. Either one of those teams could sure
Rays,
use
that'd be
Madison
a great
Bumgarner.
fit. That would be a great fit.
He would do well there, and for the way the Rays been playing, still playing good baseball. Tyler Glass now on the shelf for 4 to 6 weeks. Keep Snell healthy. I think that he would be a heck of a good fit down there.
He really would.
And, he's a South Carolina kid, so it'd be close to home
that works.
as well.
Yeah.
4 to 6 weeks for Glass now. I was praying that it was a little lighter than that, but I'm glad it's not too serious because I was actually watching that game and he threw a pitch and then he just immediately pointed to the dugout like, hey, come on out. Something's wrong. So I was like, oh, no.
Ouch.
It's a soft tissue injury, that forearm, that flexor tendon in your forearm. But it's very, very painful when you strain that. So it does take a little rehab and time off, just not throwing, But it's very common among pitchers that throw as hard as he does. But he's a hard throwing kid. There's a new sheriff in town in San Diego by the name of Chris Paddock. Keep an eye on this kid. He is a maniac.
I just wrote it down.
He's a kid out of Texas, and he throws his fastball right up there, 97, 98, and he commands people, and it's a lot of fun to watch. Just a lot of fun. San Diego's actually done pretty well so far this year, but they're not going to probably make playoffs, but they're awful fun to watch.
Garrett's got one more for you before we got to go.
I was just going to say I'm glad that we have somebody to talk about injuries
that
has some sort of experience compared to me and Brian. Looking on WebMD.
My exact thought when you said that, because I'll go back to revert to it. I was thinking it's almost cool that we almost have a doctor on this show.
Oh, no, I wouldn't go that far, but I tell you what, I wish I could have the MLB people come to our office and get fixed up
Wouldn't
there
that
on the
be
bypass
great?
and first step prosthetics.
Wouldn't
Sure.
that be great? I mean,
That'd be a blast.
They would tip you well, Danny.
I imagine. I hope so. Tip me with some tickets. I'd be just
there
fine
you go.
with that.
I'm going to send you to the Reds. Maybe me and you and Garrett will go up for a game.
Hey, dude, I'm ready to do that.
That would be
That
fun.
sounds like a whole lot of fun.
But we would probably have to spend the night in Cincinnati.
Oh, absolutely.
None of us are driving back.
Talking baseball and having a few Pepsis.
I'm a Dr. Pepper guy, but I totally get it.
Dr. Pepper too.
Dr. Pepper. See, 2 Dr. Peppers over here. Buddy, always a pleasure. First up, we love you guys, and we love Danny Hartung, the Limb. Been on almost 70 shows with us, bro. That's
oh my word,
that's crazy.
It's been that many. I love it, man.
It is crazy. I cannot. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. I mean, But
come on up with your sports injuries up the hill, up on the 31 bypass, guys. Because
that's right.
We're ready to wait on you. Got some good staff up there, and we're always willing to help. And if you have a problem with anything, just give us a call.
Right next to Batteries Plus Bulbs, right there on 31W bypass. Danny the Limb, appreciate you, man, being on the Line X hotline. We'll get you in studio hopefully next week.
We gone.
All right, folks. Garrett Browning and I going to be taking a break here. Going to come back with Vegas Frank. He's got a lot of stuff to tell us. A little bit of WKU talk. I love it when he goes tops on me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And reminder to the fans, we got WKU baseball after the show, 5:45 pregame from Clarksville, Tennessee versus Austin Peay. And after the game tonight, we will be joining In Progress, Warriors, Trailblazers.
NBA. Listen, I wanted to tell you real quick before we go, Clarksville, I know the aerial shot of where they're going to be playing because I was 10,000 feet above it.
Oh, I didn't know where you were going with that one. Yeah, the plane jump.
The plane jump. Folks, appreciate you listening to the Sports Web 249. We'll be right back with Vegas Frank, Kevin Childers, Club at Old Stone, and Matavia Graham, Warren Central Dragon, ESPN 1027.
The future has arrived at Luxury Imports of Bowling Green. The 2020s are here, and there's room for everyone and everything in a 2020 Mercedes-Benz GLE 350 SUV with leases starting at $699 a month for 36 months with $47.93 due at signing. Or be one of the very first to drive the first ever history-making BMW X7 with standard 3-row seating. Pre-orders.
Hello, Vegas. Give me $100 on red.
Go! $200 in chips, please.
Are you a professional?
What's your bet, sir? Bet. Hit me.
It's a bust.
Whoa! I am on fire.
Oh, he's good.
You're a winner!
Against the Odds with Vegas Frank is brought to you by JBK Network Consulting. JBK Network Consulting. We are IP everything. Working with complex organizations to achieve measurable business outcomes is what we do. Let Jim Grant and JBK Network Consulting go to work for you. Call 270-796-8935. Visit JBK Network Consulting at 1143 Fairway Place, Suite 105, and online at jbk.net.
Welcome back to the Sports Web, the 249th installment. Actually, it's a few more than that. Vegas Frank on the Line X hotline. Line X bedliners. Roger and Gina, Louisville Road, Porter Pike intersection. Get over there, protect that truck bed and the value of your vehicle. This guy's got some values. First, we're going to chat a little bit about the WK Hilltoppers basketball. We promised, we teased it, we said we would, and we won't let you down. Coming at you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. What's up, Vegas Frank?
I'm doing good. How about yourself? Just trying to get a little tan. I'm working on my sun.
Yeah, there you go. It's sun's beaming down on Sin City, I guess. This time of year, it's beautiful. I miss that. It's my favorite time of year out there, man. It's like perfect. I mean, there's not any humidity. It's 80s, 90s. Oh, my goodness. Pool weather. I love it, man. Sportsbook weather, though, always, right? It's always nice and sunny in the sportsbook.
The sportsbook is always nice, and, AC's on, and smoke. Lots of cigars and cigarette smoke, which is really nice. Really good for the ambiance. It sets the mood. So that's always a plus.
I mean, there's just something about it, man. There's more cigars smoked per capita in Las Vegas on a day-to-day basis that somebody's bothering me here. Go away. We're talking on the radio. Hey, man, I was first of all, I want to call it the player carousel almost. But I like it because that means Stansbury is taking every moment to try to fill a roster that he can get to an NCAA tournament. And listen, I'm good with it.
No, I agree with you. I think with the homegrown talent as well as a guy who's really close to the state of Kentucky, they've done really well with the recruiting train. I mean, Stansbury kind of hit the ground running. Going back to October, November, when he first got the Gatorade Player of the Year, Isaiah Cozart, the guy's going to make an immediate impact. I mean, 6'7" forward. I mean, big guy. I mean, his second high school game into his senior season, he set the record for the state of Kentucky for blocks. So, I mean, this is a guy that's going to make an immediate impact. You're talking about, speaking about their neighbors, over there, Arkansas, they got the big center, Nick Ongenda, I want to say.
Oh, you close.
Went to the prep school over there in Arkansas. 6'10". Everybody was looking at this guy. He's 6'10", big guy, 7'4" wingspan. So I mean, immediately there's going to be filling some spaces there.
Nice.
Those two guys playing together is going to be great. And then let's not forget about Albany, Kentucky's own Jackson Harlan, 6'5" forward, 6'5" guard. Excuse me. He can fill it up. I mean, he's averaging 25, 26 points a game last year. So I mean, Stansbury did really well with that homegrown talent. I think they're going to be in good shape to start the year.
Yeah, I got to witness Harlan play live 3 different times this year, and his last game he didn't do as well. But man, I could see the skills in this young man. Really, really good ball handler for his size, and pretty quick to the bucket. Really good in the paint. Looking forward to seeing him progress and come into his own as a Hilltopper. Got a big tournament coming up here not too long from now. Paradise Jam, I believe it is, and I think we're taking on Bowling Green of Ohio.
Yeah, they're going to be opening against Bowling Green. It's a team that they're pretty familiar with. All time against Bowling Green, I think Western is like 26-10 or 27-10 against Bowling Green. So it's a team that they're pretty confident, I think, going into this. But there's a lot of bigger programs. There's a lot of programs that will be part of this tournament going on. The Paradise Jam, Valparaiso is going to be playing in this tournament. Cincinnati, Nevada. I mean, everybody kind of fell in love with Nevada this past year.
Yeah.
GCU, Cincinnati's going to be playing. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, Bearcats in it. That's a great little medley of early preseason tourney. That's pretty good stuff right there. Can't wait to see how that unfolds. I look for the Tops to come out poised in this one, man. I really do, and I think we'll get past Bowling Green, and we'll see who we'll have after that. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the coming days, but to wrap a bow on it, I believe Stansbury doing his thing, baby. Do that thing, Stansbury.
No, I agree with you. I think he did really good with recruiting, and obviously because of the way the college sports are set up, you're going to lose some players. You're going to lose some players sooner than you thought you would. Some guys end up sticking around, but it seems like he's been able to reload the roster. So it's good things coming up.
Charles Bassey invited to the NBA Combine coming up really soon. I don't see him getting out of there without somebody jotting his name down and putting him on a roster. I mean, he's one of those guys that he's poised and ready to be taught how to play in the big stage, and he'll get a little tougher, get a little better with the hand-eye once he gets in the NBA. But I believe somebody will snatch him up. What are your thoughts on that? But it's pretty cool that he doesn't have an agent and has a possibility of coming back without any kind of disciplinary action, would be able to get right back into a starting role as a Hilltopper. I don't see that happening, but, hey, I always love it when they say, you're telling me there's a chance.
Well, there's always a chance. I mean, he could go in as a combine. I mean, I don't want this to happen for him, but I mean, he could have an experience that he didn't really feel good about. So he could end up going back. Coming back to Western. So a lot of things can happen the way that the combine unfolds. You don't know. Remember, we're going to have this infusion of European players also trying out for this combine. So there's always a possibility that he could not really like where people are telling him where he could be taken, and he could come back.
I like it. It could happen. I'm positive.
cup half full kind of guy here, Frank. Listen, let's go ahead and segue right into the NBA. Well, I tell you, we were pretty much on target, although I don't know that we had the Trailblazers all together. But, man, I tell you, what a couple of second-round semifinals, man. Golly.
2 Game 7s on Mother's Day. I think that I would have been in trouble on multiple levels if we ended up with 3 Game 7s, because I can justify sitting and watching the end of 2 games. I couldn't watch 3 games. That's what we would have gotten if Houston was able to win on Friday. We would have had 3 Game 7s on Sunday. The NBA's got to hate Mother's Day or something. I don't know what they're doing to me. But, I mean, I was getting all kinds of glares and looks. I mean, trying to sneak away, watch games. But what a great finish. I mean, in both cases, you have a buzzer beater for a Game 7. I think it was the first buzzer beater for a Game 7.
I had to go back. I heard someone say that on ESPN radio, and I was like, man, is that really the case? And I couldn't find any stretch even close to that. But that ball just kind of bounced. I mean, it was a moment everybody couldn't breathe, and I guarantee you that we're in the arena couldn't breathe. I mean, I was like, as exciting of a finish as I've ever seen in an NBA game.
No, and you got to feel good for the city of Toronto. I mean, this is exciting for them to be kind of, there's a team that really hasn't been able to advance.
True.
I mean, really, everybody in the East hasn't been able to get past LeBron. He's been in the finals for 8 years.
True.
So all these other teams are just kind of in a holding pattern. So it's kind of exciting to see, this next generation of teams being able to step up and move. I mean, Toronto is more of a veteran-led team. I mean, they do have some young studs, but, I mean, they're more of a veteran-led team. So they're going to have to make some major strides. Milwaukee is sort of like the new regime. They're sort of like up and coming. So that's going to be a very interesting series. I mean, ultimately, I like the Bucks.
Sure,
but
sure.
I think it's going to be a great series. It should be a lot of fun.
I would think that it's going to go the limit. I mean, because I feel like Toronto's going to win in Jurassic Park. I mean, most every time they're going to be hard to beat there. And Milwaukee, they can steal a few on the road though, and that's what scares me about an early exit for the Raptors. But I don't know. Giannis, it takes him a couple games to get warmed up anyway. So I mean, like you said, it should be action-packed, but I mean, these finals are going to be so much fun, these conference finals. I mean, we've got some great action coming up. Tell me what you think about these Golden State Warriors without one Kevin Durant.
Well, and we're waiting to see what he's going to be evaluated. It looks like he's obviously ruled out for today, but they don't think he'll be playing Thursday either. So they're going to wait and see if he's going to be evaluated Thursday. He might not be on the court, practicing, working out with teammates and the coaches until Thursday. So I would probably rule him out for Thursday as well. Now, how does that change? It doesn't change Portland's game plan that much because you're talking about 2 other defensive players that are going to be keyed on McCollum and Lillard. I think Iguodala will probably be playing McCollum most of the time. Clay is going to be playing on Dame. So it's going to be the role players for Portland who's able to establish they're going to have that third guy producing, and I think that it could be Cantor. It could be a guy like Evan Turner who sort of found his way again.
Yes, he really has.
So we'll see. But, I mean, this is going to be an interesting series, and even if Durant was playing, this would still be really fun. I think we're still going to be – we're probably going to be, tied at 2-2. After we get through the first 4 games. I can see Portland winning one of the first 2, but I can definitely see Golden State winning the first one or second one in Portland.
True. Curry just came on fire the other night out of nowhere in the fourth quarter. That was crazy. But I tell you one quick stat before we move on, and I want to get your picks out of these conference finals. But man, Milwaukee on the road 27-14 this year. That's that's on fire.
Yeah, they're pretty ridiculous. They've been a good road team. It carries over because the role players they have such a good bench. They have so much experience. These guys have been playing together, kind of learning together, and a lot of that. I mean, it's not even a credit to the current coach. It's kind of a credit to Kidd. Because Jason Kidd was sort of bringing along these guys.
Great point.
He really developed guys like Middleton and Giannis, and they trusted him. And again, their bench is good. They're going to get Malcolm Brogdon back at some point during this series, and the Bucks are loaded. They have a lot to give. I think this is going to be a good series. Ultimately, I would take Milwaukee, but I think it's going to be great.
I'm going with the Bucks and the Golden State Warriors in these. But you made a great point alluding to Jason Kidd there. Not been said. I haven't heard even the Big Show guys on ESPN talk about that. So you're the first guy I've heard unload that. That's a great talking point. And we're AAA, so, we're close to the show, Frank. Maybe we'll get called up. Maybe we won't. But you're listening to Vegas Frank. It's Against the Odds, brought to you by JBK Network Consulting. IP Everything. Get a hold of Jim Grant over there. Take care of your network. Our network here locally is rolling. We've talked a little Hilltoppers. If you missed it, you can catch it on the podcast. We've also spoke some NBA. We're going to talk now. Frank's got some UFC and maybe a few other tidbits, man. What's going on?
Well, with regard to this UFC, Andrade, she was able to pull out the win. It seems like kind of an upset. A lot of people are equating it to like a lucky punch or something. It kind of gave Namajunas sort of like this pile driver type of thing. As soon as Namajunas' head hit the mat, she was unconscious. So the fight is over. But you're talking about 7-8 minutes of Andrade kind of getting dominated. Namajunas kind of teeing off on her, and she was very successful. Kind of bloodied her up a little bit, hit her in the face quite a few times. And it looked like Namajunas was in position to pull this fight out, and Andrade kind of was just kind of throwing the kitchen sink in a sense at her, and it worked out for her, and she was able to knock Namajunas out. So I don't blame the referees. They've got to call the fight how it is. This is the thing that makes the UFC so exciting, is that there's so many different ways for them to win fights. And we're going to get a rematch. Down the road, we're going to see them fight again. It's probably going to be towards the end of the year. That's just the way the schedule is going to break. They probably won't fight until November, December, but it's fun. It's still just kind of like a head scratcher. And Namajunas was out. He was out.
When you said that, it takes me back. My rest in peace, my very good friend Jim Frankhauser. I think you met him once, but lived with me in Las Vegas. Passed away 3 or 4 years ago. Stomach cancer. God almighty, I love the guy. Minnesota guy, season ticket holder for the Gophers, big time sports guy. You remember ESPN back in the late 90s? They used to have classics, and I forget who narrated, but it was NFL classic games, and there would be narration throughout. They would just speed ahead to like a great catch or like a game break, like a big play, and they would basically narrate snidbits of the NFL game, from years back. Well, we were sitting there when you said that about her, and it made me think of something he and I used to share all the time when we'd see each other and talk to each other. But we were watching it one day. It was like 98 or 99. We were sitting there watching it, and it was Bradshaw. And I can't remember who the Steelers were playing, but it was an old championship game. And he says, as Bradshaw lie unconscious at the other end of the field. I think it was the Immaculate Reception they were actually.
It might have been. I think it might have been.
It just made me think of that. Sorry, folks. I didn't mean to share all my thoughts, but I just had to get that out because Mr. Frankhauser's passed away here coming up right around June. So I've been thinking about him quite a bit. Frank, man, moving on. We got a few more minutes left. Anything out of the NFL since we're kind of on that topic?
I'm just glad to see that OBJ's not wearing dresses anymore. The Met Gala is thankfully over with, that he can focus on turning Cleveland into the new Patriots, that he's focused on that.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
I don't know. This has been an interesting offseason. Obviously Doug Baldwin and Cam Chancellor both being released by the Seahawks, sort of a changing of the guard there. They signed Ziggy Ansah, the defensive end for the Lions, who obviously he wasn't happy there in Detroit. So that's going to be a new, change of scenery, change of culture overall. I think that you're going to see Ziggy Ansah being really effective playing in Carroll's system. So that's going to be fun, I think, going forward. But you wonder if Doug Baldwin, I think he's going to retire. It sounds like Cam Chancellor might retire too. I'd like to see those guys both play. I still think they've got something to give, but
I do too.
Can't blame them if they decide to retire.
No, it's definitely their call, and a lot of these decisions that are made, there's other things weighing in the balance. Something family, something we don't really know. That makes it speed up to the right time to bow out and say goodbye to the game. And hats off to all those guys you mentioned. They gave us some great years, and we hope they hang on. But when it's time, Frank, and it's time for us, buddy. It's always fun. Appreciate you every week. Did you have a chance to see the Browns win-loss total projection on the board for me? If not, you can give it to me next week.
No, right now, I mean, they're in that 9.5, 9 range.
Take it.
10, I think, is the number.
Take
10 and 6 sounds really good. 10-11 wins sounds really good. I'm on it.
They're going to be 11-5, brother. I'll just tell you right now.
I like it.
They're going to be 11-5, and we're going to be 250 episodes of Vegas Frank Against the Odds coming up next week on the Sports Web. 250, brother. We're getting old.
I thought you were going to say it was going to be down to 250. I was going to say, God bless.
That's your high school fighting weight, Frank.
Right.
That's your UFC weigh-in weight. Appreciate you, man. Check him out on Twitter at Vegas Frank. Great follow. Appreciate you, buddy.
Good talking to you.
Be back in just a minute. Sports Web, ESPN 1027, ESPN Radio 1027.com.
You're playing golf and you're going to like it.
Time to go home there, boss.
I can make it across.
Well, then do it.
We got all of that.
Why didn't you just go home? That's your home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me.
Knock it on. Let her rip.
It's in the hole. By the way, what did Mr. Webb shoot this morning?
It's time for Gary on the Green. Gary on the Green is brought to you by Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill on Old Louisville Road and online at bowlinggreenfireplace.com. Call 270-495-1131.
You're right there. Time for Gary on the Green. We've got a stand-in, and what a great one. Pro Kevin Childers, the club at Old Stone. We've got a lot of stuff going on out there for the summer. We'll talk to him about it in a second and get a golf tip and maybe a PGA pick. On the next hotline, we've got him right now, Kevin Childers. What's up, man?
How's it going?
It's doing good, man. It's been too long to have you on. It's we don't want to do that again. Take that long. Have your comments on the Sports Web here and during Gary on the weekly golf. And we're going to have one here shortly. But let's start with Beth Page Black, PGA Championship, second major of the year. Coming at you, a little different schedule this year. How do you like that being sandwiched between the Masters and the U.S. Open?
It's obviously the first time they've done this in a very long time, and I think the venue and the geographic venue, Beth Page Black being in New York in the early spring, is going to present its challenges. The pictures I've seen of the golf course, the agronomy staff has done a magnificent job in preparation for the championship. But looking at the forecast this week, I think there'll be some cardigans and turtlenecks and some stocking caps for those guys.
Yeah, you're probably right, Kevin. That's funny stuff right there. Well, I mean, we got a guy in Bruce Koepka that just seems to show up every major, and I think last year Tiger and he actually battled in this thing, and I think we might see a lot of the same. What are your thoughts? And try to give me a pretty good indication of who you like to finish this thing out on Sunday.
Yeah, I also want to back up on the first question, Brian. I think the placement of this championship, barring any weather conditions, was genius in my opinion, just because you've got a major golf championship or big-time tournament every month throughout the summer. And in the fall, our game of golf is not battling with college football and professional football, so we're the focus throughout the summer months for golfers. So I think it's a genius idea. Moving on to your second question about Brooks, he's my pick. I know you're going to ask me that later, but I'll go ahead and kill that for you and tell you that's my pick. We have a little vested interest here at the club at Old Stone. Our director of instruction, Jeff Pierce, is a short game instructor for Brooks Koepka and a handful of others on the PGA Tour. So we got a little bit of vested interest in that, but I just like Brooks' game. I like how forthcoming he is with the media and other players, and just how he gets himself around the golf course. We're really excited about him this week. So
yeah, Florida State Seminole there. Man, I tell you what, he's something else. And what you alluded to there was perfectly on spot. And I didn't realize that he was your guy was his one of his teachers. That's awesome to have that 6 degrees of separation with a guy who's maybe gonna win more majors than anybody once this thing's said and done in 20 years. And I mean, I'm not going to say he can't do it, and he's on pace to really set some records. Looks like Justin Thomas is going to be out due to a wrist injury. We don't really know a lot about that, but hate to see that happen. Kentucky boy who's always poised to hold that big trophy up there or get that green jacket or whatever tournament he's playing in. But we got some Europeaners that are on their game as well, so we'll get to see what Rory's going to do and some of these other guys. But I don't know. You might even see Mickelson hanging around there. But how do you think Tiger might fare this year?
After what happened the first week in April, I wouldn't be shocked by anything.
Same here.
The buzz, and I think any golf professional will second this statement, the buzz that his success has made for our game right now is tenfold. I mean, we're seeing so much more activity at the club, so much more activity on the practice facility, and I think some of that's got to be attributed to the reinvention of Tiger Woods per se, however you want to call it. But it's very exciting, and as a golf fan, I'd love to see it again. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's been tremendous for the game of golf worldwide, I would say, not just our beautiful nation that was once absolutely flourished with golfers, and we saw that go away, Kevin, and that's a great point you're making, and we're all seeing that, and I'm glad that that's turning. Trickling down into local golf too. That's a great thing because this game is awesome and we want to sustain it for hundreds of years, and so our kids and grandkids can play it. And speaking of, before we finish up with the golf tip, let's talk a little bit about the club at Old Stone. I mean, you guys got an awesome corporate kind of 9-hole, kind of a par 3 there that you're almost done with. I think you're in the end stages, and just from what it looks like for what I've got to see, man, it's second to none in a 100-mile radius.
It is. I scratch my head every day when I go up there and look at it. I mean, it is so cool, and I told somebody the other day I've never been so excited to get more busy at work. But it's going to be so cool. It's going to have a playground atmosphere, and what I mean by that is it's going to, it's not going to have your traditional tee boxes like you see on a golf course. You'll have teeing areas, 5 to 6 locations per hole, and you'll just kind of be able to play wherever you want.
Awesome.
You can play, the holes will range in distance from 35 yards to 125 yards. In any hazard or penalty area, as you call it now, and get my verbiage right, they come and play, you'll be able to kind of dodge that. If, say, you got your small children out there and they're just new to the game, they can kind of go over here and hit and not have to worry about hitting in the water or hitting the rock. Yeah, we're really excited. Mother Nature has not been our best friend this spring.
True.
So we're a little bit behind the schedule on that, but it'll be ready when it's ready, and it'll be just as championship quality as the other 18 holes out here. So
the new swimming pool, new parts of the clubhouse, the new lodge. I mean, a lot of stuff going on at Old Stone, man.
It is. We opened up our 12-bedroom guest lodge earlier this year to rave reviews. It's a beautiful facility. There's 12 rooms, as I said, double occupancy, and each room is themed after something Kentucky. For example, we have the Derby room, we have the Corvette room, we have the Oaks room, we have the Hilltopper room.
Awesome. Sports Webb room. I've yet to see it.
Maybe the next one, right?
Yeah. I'm sure. Mr. Scott's going to get right on that. Hey, listen. Before we let you get out of here, first of all, it's been tremendous having you on, and it's been fabulous. And appreciate Kevin Childers, one of the best pros in the United States, much less in Kentucky. So, want to definitely thank you again. But here's what we do: our golf tip. And I know you're not used to giving free ones, coach or pro, but we're going to do it today. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about. Maybe these high school kids, a lot of them listen, and they're moving on, wanting to get to the next level. Before a tournament or a high school match or just a scramble, anything. Before you get on the first tee, you want to get to that range and hit some balls and get loose. What's a good alignment tool that you can just have at the ready without having to have a lot of utensils with you and teaching tools? If a guy wants to work on his alignment on the range.
It's one of the most important aspects of the game because it doesn't matter how good you hit your shot, if you're not lined up properly and hitting it where you're intended, it's not going to end up well. And the junior golfers that I teach, I always preach to them, practice with a purpose. And, make sure you line up every shot as if it was a shot during a tournament or a shot on the golf course. And it's as simple as you get these alignment rods, you can pick it up at your local hardware store, or for that matter, you can just grab your driver or a 3-wood and lay it down and make sure that you get
your alignment's correct, and that you, again, practice with a purpose, and make every shot just as important as the next one. So.
And a lot of those times, young folks who don't really have a consistent pattern, may see themselves lining up a little different just to kind of go along and complement their ball travel, their ball flight. So it's not going to be one size fits all, right?
No, absolutely not. And again, bad alignment can lead to other swing flaws. You may think you're lined up in one spot, but you may be hitting it continually straight, and you're lined up right. Therefore, you're going to start pulling the ball to try to get it back to your target because you think you're lined up. So if you don't have an alignment aid down there, then it could lead to more problems in your golf game. So alignment is definitely one of the keys for practice.
World-class teaching facility there at the Club at Old Stone. You can get in touch with head pro Kevin Childers. Got a great staff. Coach, if somebody wants to look into some spring, summer lessons, get their game off to a good start, how do they get a hold of you over there?
You can just call the golf shop. We have we got our director of instruction, Jeff Pierce. He's here on property 4 to 5 days a week. When he's not on the PGA Tour, he has a senior instructor in Atticus Bellin, and myself and my two assistants, Chad Douglas and Jacob Chicot. And we also have our shop merchandiser, Megan McChrystal, who is a former 3-time All-American at LSU.
Wow.
And, really helped our junior game and our ladies program get off. So we've got a lot of exciting things going on out here this season.
Your staff's like the Golden State Warriors.
I'll tell you what, I'm not Steph Curry. I can tell you that.
No, I would think you more like Kevin Durant. Kevin squared.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I like it. Kevin Childers. Man, thank you so much again, Kevin, for doing Gary on the Green, and great tips and great pick in the PGA, brother.
Sounds good. Thanks for the call, Brian.
We'll be right back. ESPN 102.7.
It's time for Culver's High School Baseball or Softball Player of the Week. Welcome to Delicious. Visit Culver's, Scottsville Road, locally owned and operated. Culver's of Bowling Green, Kentucky, 4903 Scottsville Road, Bowling Green, home of the flavor of the day. And now, your High School Player of the Week.
Welcome back to the Sports Web. It's time for the Culver's High School Softball Player of the Week. Takes us out to Dragon Central. That's Warren Central. And we're going to talk to a young lady here that can hit a dinger, play infield, outfield, put it wherever you want to. Matavia Graham, what's up?
Hi.
First time I've had you on the Sports Web. We got Coach Hood over here hanging for support as well. Coach, tell me a little bit about this young lady.
Yeah, she's a multi-sport athlete. I've been helping a little bit with softball here towards the end of the year, and I think she played 3 different positions last night and last night's game. She does anything the coach asked of her and has hit a couple homers this year.
You got to love them dingers, Matavia. First of all, how long you been playing the game of softball?
I've been playing since I was 5.
So, a couple weeks. But have you always kind of gravitated towards that sport as being the one you like the most, or is there another sport you like more?
I play basketball, but I've always liked softball more. It was easier to better for me to focus and learn more about, and I connected to it a lot.
What are some of the things that you have learned, and you can do a segue into life or just in general, but what are some of the things that softball you're going to take away from it when you graduate? I think you're just a junior, though, right? So you got another year at this thing, but so far, what's been one of the biggest lessons you've learned playing this game?
My biggest lesson that I've learned playing, I guess to just never give up, and there's going to be obstacles that you have to overcome and achieve, and that goes for life, too. As long as you just keep your head in it, you'll...
The 5-star answer right there. I like it. I can tell why she's successful. So let's talk a little bit about class here. I know sometimes that's everybody lights up. Sometimes they're like, it's something a necessary evil. Do you like school?
I do.
What would be your favorite subject?
I would go with reading.
So kind of English literature. You're into that? Do you write?
No, I don't.
Might want to look into that. You might be a writer and not know it. Describe your years so far at Central being a Dragon.
This year being a Dragon, school has been great. I've just been, taking classes that could just help me later in life. I do a few dual credit classes that prepare me for when I go to college. I just be prepared academically.
Listen, preparedness is number one in life and in studies and everything you do. If you're not prepared, don't know if you don't have a roadmap or you haven't at least tried to build a roadmap, it can get confusing. So, all excellent points, Matavia, coming out of your voice there. I really appreciate you being on the Sports Web. This is a great honor to give you an awesome plaque from Oak Tree Awards and Culver's Butterburgers. I don't know if you ever had a Butterburger, but they are great. You need to get over there and get you one. We're going to finish it up with this note. What would, as far as sports go, are you excited to be coming into your senior year, or you wish you were still 5 years old hitting this thing for the first time?
Oh, man, I wish I would say I was still 5, but, you got to grow up, so I'm happy to start my senior year, I guess.
I'm mentally still 5, Coach, but you want to close with something, maybe something we might not know about Matavia? First of all, let me ask you this. Before we ask Coach, what do you have a game that stands out in your mind, like a basketball, a softball game that you just always it's always in there when you start thinking about your past games and stuff? Is there a game that stands out?
There's been one that stands out like this season, and that was against Hart County. I got injured, and I hit a home run with the injured finger. And, I went through therapy and everything, and I'm just glad I'm able to get back out there.
That is awesome. Final thought from Coach Hood.
I would just say that just working with Matavia the last couple of years, she's a girl that is all about the team, somebody that, like I said, plays through injury. She's got a nice little jump shot, but and I know that, she's just a very talented girl, and you always see her with a smile on her face. It'll light up the room, and, just a great girl that glad that we get one more year with, and somebody that is going to be successful in the future.
I've seen her on the court. I've seen her on the diamond, and it's always very exciting to watch you do your thing, Matavia, and congratulations on Culver's Fast Pitch Softball Player of the Week.
Thank you.
We'll be right back on the Sports Web from Warren Central. Brian Webb, ESPN 102.7.